Jay's going to give you an update on the roster today. Obviously, my first impressions in the last 3 weeks or so have been, as Jay has said repeatedly, we are a cap team with star players and did not have success. We are in a different mode going forward. We are below the cap. I think Jay's done an able job of clearing it. We are at 45 contracts. You're only allowed by the National Hockey League to have 50. With the addition of Joe Colburn yesterday, we're at 45. So we have $13 million roughly in cap room. I guess Joe would eat up some of that, so $12 million in cap room. We are poised to add to this group if we see the value in doing it. We have been authorized by ownership to spend to the cap, so that's not an issue. The issue is value. We have not seen an addition that makes sense to us from a value perspective, not a budget perspective or a cost perspective, but purely from a value perspective. Predictions about the season, I don't make those. We're going to do it this way, and we're going to do the best we can and see where it goes. But from my perspective, this is a transition that had to take place and is well underway. So we're going to get the season started. Jay will be up here shortly to talk about the roster. Questions for me, please. Well, I think, as I said when I got here, I mean, one thing I felt was that the group was smaller than we needed to be competitive. I think Joe Colburn, he's not a black and blue player, but 6'5" is something you can't teach or coach. And I think it's a bigger group with Joe in there. Even though I caution people, this is not a black and blue player. This is just a big body player. I think that the group works extremely hard. The group listens and responds well. As I say, the issue for me is, do we have enough skill? And we're going to find that out. I'm very impressed with our first-round pick. I had nothing to do with Mr. Monaghan being selected, so when I say that, it's obviously not taking any ownership in that, but I'm very impressed with him. And I've been a guy who's always sent guys back to junior after their draft year. You look at my record on it, it's pretty clear. Bobby Ryan, Nazem Kadri, those guys go back. I think this kid's going to make it a real difficult decision for Jay as far as whether he goes back or not. But I think the plan certainly that Jay has in place here when we acquired this player is that so far Joe Colburn, with several years of pro hockey under his belt, has not been able to crack the lineup as a top six forward. And it's our plan that given his size and skating ability and hockey IQ, that he could turn into a pretty special bottom six forward if we put him there, and especially with Bob Hartley teaching him. I think it's the reason that I've always sent players back is because my coach would never guarantee me he'd give them enough minutes or enough situational ice time for them to get better. So Morgan Rielly last year was a lockout year, is a poor example. He goes back and he plays 28, 30, 31 minutes some nights, all first power play, first PK. So he's getting an incubator to learn in all different manpower situations on every inch of the ice surface that he's not going to get if he stays with the Toronto Maple Leafs and plays 7 or 8 minutes. And I think the challenge to Bob is going to be, if you guarantee Jay that this kid's going to play so many minutes, then he can stay. And in these situations, he's going to get power play time and so on. If not, going back to the CHL, it's almost never hurt a player to go back.